Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Asuka here, bringing to you another video for Conqueror's Blade, published by Porus Interactive. This, um, kind of a surprise announcement. I mean, I knew the season was going to start on the 26th, but like, with all predictions before, I thought it was going to start, first week of April, but I didn't realize they'd push it this week. Though, I mean, all of the news just basically came in all at once. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff that they announced, including a bunch of unit changes, and obviously you got the short sword. I would say semi rework. It's not a full on rework like probably people expected. Something like as extensive as Bastard Sword, but it's still essentially a rework. It's a big change for Short Sword. Anyway, let's go straight into it. We got first of all, apparently this season is going to be called Season Echo. Of course, it's just the intermediary season before we get the Three Kingdoms and CB 2.0. This is just the events and maintenance announcements. So for APAC, we got March 26th, 0 hours to 1500 hours, UTC plus 8, EU/AMS March 25th, 1700 to March 26th, 0800, UTC plus 1. The maintenance is expected to last for 15 hours. After the maintenance, we will distribute bronze coins times 35,000, honor times 1500, and unit metal times 75. As compensation, you got your basic call to arms, login rewards. The drums of war are sounding. Answer the call and log in during the event to claim your supplies. You can earn up to 5 limited time golden keys. Trash. Treatises times 5. Again, I don't like the limited time stuff. Just give us normal golden keys. You're just being super stingy, but not by forcing us to use them straight away. Event duration March 26th after maintenance to April 2nd before maintenance. Classic battlefield turns. Echo Treasury now open. Jump into the returning classics map via the J events mode, or play standard siege battles for a chance to earn exchange tokens like Echo Mark and Echo Badge. Trade these in at the Echo Treasury for a massive overhaul of rewards. Additionally, classic unsealed battle pass tires are making a glorious comeback in the Echo Treasury. The Echo Treasury will feature the following returning attire selection boxes. So the Echo Legendary Attire Selection Box contains returning Tier 100 Battle Pass attires from Season 1. Seize the Crown. That's hilarious. They actually reverted back to the traditional season the back to the old seasonal numbering system, which makes season one, which makes Seize the Crown season one, but but technically we switched over to the My Games numbering system, which makes Seize the Crown season zero. So that's again like I just find their consistency on being inconsistent is hilarious. Um, Season 2, Wrath of Nomads, Season 3, Soldiers of Fortune, and Season 4, Blood of the Empires. Definitely want to pick myself up the Seize the Crown legendary attire. I don't have it, and I would love to pick one up. Echo Epic. attire selection box contains returning Tier 1 Battle Pass attires from the season listed above. Excellent. Definitely do think that, like, they could just sell all of these things, but if they're giving it to us for free, I'm not going to complain at this point. Bonus, playing on returning maps also gives you a chance to receive these attire selection boxes as direct drops. Oh, that's super interesting. Phase 1 goes from March 26th after maintenance to April 16th before maintenance, so got plenty of time. I say plenty of times. It's a month. It's a month. So depending on how expensive it is, like picking up 4 boxes for both the legendary ones and the epic ones might be hard, might be easy. Again, like they don't list like uh, rates and stuff, so we won't know. Obviously, this is only of part of the attires. We have 20 odd seasons of attires that definitely could return. So I don't think this phase 1 is going to be limited to just this season because they've already stated that this season is going to be short. 8 weeks, I think 8 weeks. I think they said it was going to be. Um, it might actually show it a little bit later. Uncover the battlefield relics for season Echo exclusive cosmetics. I mean, I just want to look at this thing as well. They're not showing off any of the attires above, which is really hilarious to me because that's Dynasty, that's Eternals, um, that's actually um, oh my God, not Ragnarok. That's Helheim actually, Paragon, Scorpio, and Colosseum. So yeah, those are um, like that's season 5. That's Dynasty season 5, I think. Helheim, the second. Oh man, just all over, just all over the place actually. Some of the best looking attires as well, but like, yeah, really cool image. Exclusive cosmetics, interesting. Piece together the chronicles of war during the battle, exchange for fragments of the path in the Echo Treasury, and use them to unlock the battlefield relics. Completing each record will grant you rewards, and with the grand total including treatises times 10, the fame Echoes of Glory, and the title Vanguard Lord's Bane. March 26th after maintenance until the maintenance that launches the new season. Interesting. Ah. Oh, the frame. Okay, this is the frame, not the fame. I read that wrong. Um, Honestly, I mean, for me personally, I don't really take titles and these frame things too seriously. But if you're into that stuff, to each their own. It's free and it doesn't look like it's time limited, so pick it up, I guess. Again, I feel like they're really stingy with these things, but treatises or whatever to me because I've got so many of them already. Unless they start pumping out new doctrines, which I don't want them to do. I hate doctrines as a system, mostly because, well, I don't hate doctrines as a system. I hate it. I hate what it does to the balance of the game, and most of the doctrines are just either really terrible or absolutely game changing for units. During the event, the base success rate for forging high-end equipment are significantly increased. Good luck forging your ultimate arsenal. Rare and epic uh, equipment schematic forging slash reforging stats adjusted to rare 52%, epic 45%, legendary 3%. You say this now, and I just went through a whole forging thing. Epic equipment schematic forging epic what? That's confusing. Epic rare and epic equipment schematic. That's that should actually just be rare, being set to that. And then the epic equipment schematic forging and reforging rates adjusted to epic 86% and legendary to 14%. That's the base forging percent, which I think it's much lower than this by default. I think they increased it by like 5% or something. The epic one got increased a lot. I think the legendary one only got increased by like 1% here. Anyway, apparently it only lasts for 1 week. What tragedy is this? March 26th after maintenance to April 2nd before maintenance. Attire chest sale, golden key rebate phase 2 starts now. During the event, for every 10 golden keys spent on any G attire chest pull, you will receive 3 limited time golden keys in return. These limited time golden keys can be used across all attire chest pools. Note, the maximum amount of consumed keys eligible for this rebate is 150, meaning you can earn a maximum of 45 limited time golden keys. Any unused limited time golden keys will expire and disappear after the April 16th maintenance, so be sure to spend them. Again, really tragic. I mean, 10 for 3. How expensive golden keys are. I mean, this is probably like one of the only times they'll probably bring this out. If you have golden keys stacked up, then lucky you. I used all of mine already. March 26th after maintenance to April 16th before maintenance, so you got quite a bit of time. 3 weeks by the looks of it. Limited time attire chest returns. Again, they keep saying limited time, but they honestly bring it back every time. Carolingian Radiance, the Oracle of Nyx, and Scourge of Cadmus. Attire chests return for a limited time. Don't miss your chance to grab the legendary Spear and Shield attire. That's hilarious. Okay, they mixed. They called this legendary Spear and Shield attire, but the Carolingian Radiance is literally this one here, which is the second legendary longsword skin. Legendary mount attire Oracle of Nyx, and the legendary Spear and Shield attire Scourge of Cadmus. Obviously you got these nice graphics that show them off. Just really funny that like a mistake like this just being let through. Ugh. Um, Season Echo sales 30% off. Yeah, unit attires. I guess that's just really it. So all directly sold unit attires and exclusive unit attires in the stores are 30% off. Goes from March 26th after maintenance to April 16th before maintenance. Featured Doctrine Pool Hedge Pikes and Armstrong's Redoubt now live. So Hedge of Pikes is increased discovery rate for epic doctrines used by polearm infantry. Armstrong Redoubt is for javelin infantry. Excellent. March 26th after maintenance and April 16th before maintenance. Store packs updated. Apparently there's a whole bunch of packs. Including epic hero schematics, siege engines. Obviously they'll sell. To be personally honest, I don't like the fact that they're selling epic hero schematics. I don't like the fact that they're selling artillery. They've always been selling artilleries, honestly, but the epic hero schematics have become more of a contentious thing. Not like we can stop them, just don't buy it. But I'll be honest, there's going to be people that buy it. You're not going to be able to stop everyone. The only reason they actually do sell it is because people actually do buy it. Additionally, the hand-picked Eastern Season unit pack and the hand-picked Western Season unit pack has been added to the store. March 26th after maintenance to April 16th before maintenance. All right, that concludes just the events and maintenance. I guess I'll just go back to. Oh, no. Let's see if they included it in the update log. I actually have not read ahead for this. So they have the update log for this one. So this one's going to be. I'm probably going to read out each section and give my thoughts at that section instead of all at the end. That way I don't get lost of going back and forth. Season Echo exclusive challenge. The unit challenges for the Season Echo have received a massive upgrade. By participating in these challenges, warlords can select one 5-star unit from Season 2 Wrath of Nomads to Lionfire. In addition, abundant rewards are available, including a Tier 5 Doctrine selection. That is insanity. A Tier 5 Doctrine selection box is incredible. Epic Mount, Bullinus. I don't know how to say that name. Brunellus? 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 I think it's Boonellis or something. Doctrine Spirit and the Epic Heroes Schematic Crate, Pure Wisdom, and Divine Crows. Obviously, they're just going to give Divine Crows out. I really serious. It's really funny because they actually banned Divine Crows from the HLL. I'm not going to cover the HLL since I don't like the HLL because of the balancing issues that I find with doctrines and the fact that it uses your live account. Not all accounts are equal, so obviously the HLL is mostly just veteran accounts. If you can win the HLL with a brand new account, absolutely um, I'd be absolutely surprised and honestly impressed if you manage that. But I doubt it. Highly doubt it. Some nice graphics, premium rewards. During Season Echoes, purchasing the Battle Pass unlocks additional premium rewards. Furthermore, the EXP required to upgrade the Battle Pass is reduced by 20% in Season of Echoes. So you got the level 1 Hero Type Outlaw, level 20 Banner Selection. Choose one from a wide variety of unit banners. The selection includes all unit banners featured in the Battle Pass from Season 1, Seize the Crown to Lionfire. Oh, definitely gonna love that one. Because again, I didn't play in the beta. For ABAC, it's beta. Officially, the Meiji one released out of their early acts, out of their beta to release in Seize the Crown, um, but the APAC side didn't officially release until at the end of Wrath of Nomads, which is season 2. So yeah, which is when I started. Level 70, mount attire selection box. Choose one of the wide varieties of mount attires. The selection includes all mount attires featured in the battle passes from Season 1, Seize the Crown to Lionfire, and level 100, Hero attire Justicar. Honestly, both look pretty good, although I do think that they made the female one a bit sexier. They could have done something for the male to kind of like get the similar vibe, but obviously male is like the classic grumpy old man or ranger look, and you went with the rogue look for the female. Again, I don't like it when the attires are dynamically different in this fashion. If they're both gonna be rogues, they need to have essentially like the same dynamic, but you can obviously tell that like this guy is like like I don't know how to explain it. It's just how my mind works Not that I don't like the female one. I mean, the female one looks amazing. Whether or not it actually looks amazing in game is another question as well. Um, but I'd be also down for a blood-stained weapon as well, if there is one, but it doesn't look like it. And the Justica one, it's got the same vibe, except for the helmet. Nearly okay. It's got the same vibe for like the armor pieces, but you got blue hints on the male one. And can I just say that's just Melania, right? I mean, that's just Melania, right? Except for like not having a prosthetic arm and leg, that helmet, I feel like FromSoft's gonna sue. Looking at it more, for some reason, I'm getting like Nightfall 2.0 on this guy. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. That's very unfortunate. You got two very similar attires in my head just going. Maybe if I put them next to each other, they won't look that similar, but you're gonna run out of ideas eventually, right? Outlaw, unit banner, unit attire, mount attire, and Jessica. Season Vault. Oh man, during Season Echo, the Sealer season attire will return to the Season Vault throughout this. Okay, yeah, I say that, but it's all sealed versions. Throughout this season, Warlords can redeem them using blades at a 20% discount. So these are your prices. I'm not going to read them out. The following tires will have their blade redemption prices restored to the original prices. So that's the Sparta one. Obviously, we're now going to say goodbye to the Lion's Fire one. Oh, they also made a mistake here. It's not the Lion's Fire season weapons that are retiring. It is the Spartan. Again, they always do this mistake. The prices that are returned to the original state, these ones get their prices put back. You get the season attires put away, and this should be the Spartan season returning weapon attires are now also being removed because we should have the Sealer season attires coming in and weapons. So, um, not sure if they're not discounted though, but they're added in. So, um, yeah. So I don't think they mentioned it anywhere. They're not even showing them off, even though like it's actually kind of cool. Some of their weapon attires is kind of cool because it's just different from a lot of the other attires. Not like other attires, to say the least. Okay, anyway. World during Season Echo Warlords will not consume unit kits when playing world modes. Excellent. I don't like unit kit costs, but like for territory war and stuff, like it makes sense. Okay, campaign. Servers with 3 unlocked regions on the following server. The available regions are Maoyang, Australia, and Borderlands. The focus region is Borderlands, meaning the hegemon title is determined by the ownership of Conqueror City. AVAC, that means it's Lotus Ash Sea, Dragon Rise Island, and Jade Rock Creek. EU slash AMS, Crystal Sea, and Elysium Peak. On the following servers, the available regions are Maoyang and Borderlands. The focus region is Borderlands, meaning the hegemon title is determined by the ownership of Conqueror City. That includes Khan's Edge, Astral Crown, Scarlet Rose, EU and AMS, Legion Warhol, Iron Dawn. Okay, so that's the only 2 breaking points. Phase 1 opening move goes from March 26th to April 6th, 1200 UTC plus 8. Available units 4-star and below. Very interesting. They're skipping the 3-star. They're skipping the 3-star lock, going straight to 4-star. Equipment set attribute is enabled. Equipment set attribute are enabled. Wow, that's also a jump. So they're skipping straight to the tier 4 stage. Equipment forge attribute bonus attributes disabled. Auxiliary unit pool is 4-star and below. Auxiliary unit points is 6. Territory related things. ABAC, Warlords on Lotus Ash Sea, Dragon Rise Island, and Jade Rock Creeks can wage war in Maoyang on Osteria. That means Borderland is locked. Khan's Edge, Astral Crown, and Scarlet Rose can enter Maoyang and Borderlands. Interesting. So Borderlands is open straight away for thing, which is really weird. EU and AMS Warlords on Crystal Sea and Elysium Peak, Maoyang and Osteria, Legion War Hall, Iron Dawn, Maoyang Borderlands. Phase 2, Eve of the Storm. Duration April 6th, 1200 to April 20th, 1200 UTC plus 8. Which is really strange because this kind of just repeats the same thing. And it goes down to the 20th. So that's gonna be like an entire month. Almost. It's like 3 weeks and a bit. Almost 4 weeks of tier 4. Available units is 4-star and below. Set bonuses are enabled. Forge bonuses are disabled. Auxiliary is the same. Points are the same. But Borderland is open for Lotus Ash Sea, Dragon Rise, Jade Rock Creek, and same for Crystal Sea and Elysian Peak. Phase 3 is All is Chaos, and that goes from 20th to 27th. Only a week. Interesting. That unlocks the 5-star and below. Set bonuses are enabled. Forge bonuses are enabled. Pool, auxiliary pool is 5-star and below, and obviously we got the auxiliary points still being 6. I don't know why they're mentioning the auxiliary points if they're not going to increase it. And phase 4 is Throne. Goes to the 11th. Ah, interesting. Goes from the 27th to the 11th. That's another 2 weeks. 5-star. Everything's enabled, basically. Oh, but the capitals are... So Aliang and Angolia is open for Lotus Ash Sea, Dragon Rise Island, Jade Rock Creek, Crystal Sea, and Elysium Peak for APAC and EU/AMS respectively. Then Aliang is open for Khan's Edge, Astral Crown, Scarlet Rose, Legion's Warhol, and Iron Dawn for APAC respectively. Then we have Imperial Dawn, which is absolutely crazy because essentially Imperial Dawn is normally the end of the season, but it is normally the fight for the nearly most of the time fight for the capital, but I feel like they skipped I feel like all is chaos. I feel like all is chaos should open the 2 capitals here. And Usurp the Throne is supposed to be for the main capital, and Imperial Dawn is just like the fight is just the maintaining all of the capitals. But in this case, they're just fighting for the end here. Anyway, Ghost duration is May. Sorry, not March. May 11th, 1200 to May 25th, 1200. UTC plus 8. 5-star below. Set bonuses are enabled. Blah 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 blah. And obviously, Conqueror City is open, along with the 2 or one other capital in the respective service. So onto the season challenges. So we do still have season challenges for Season of Echo. Forged in Fire, complete 6 out of the 8 per stage. Challenge unlock date is March 26th after maintenance. First stage, 100 artificial stones, 3 rare weapon schematics. Stage 2 is rare weapon schematics. Third stage is rare refined weapon schematic, just one. Fourth stage is one epic hero schematic. You got the Vanguard's Path, complete 6 out of the 8 per stage. Unlocks same day, 26th after maintenance. First stage is one rare artillery selection box. Stage 2, one gold threaded barding. I think that's just the purple epic epic barding. Otherwise, I don't know what. Oh, otherwise, I don't know what that is. I don't know why it's called gold. That's the first time I've seen gold threaded barding before. I doubt it. I doubt it's a new thing. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the epic barding schematic. But I could be wrong. Hmm. Third stage is the epic divine crow times 1. And fourth stage you get a epic horse times 1. Gathering strength, complete 8 out of the 10 tasks per stage. Challenge unlocks on April 6th, 1200 UCC plus 8. First stage is unit metal times 100. Second stage is special honor metal times 1. First time I've seen special honor metal as well. I don't even know how much honor that would be. It would be really sad if it's like 1,000 or something. I feel like this one has to be at least a purple one, 5,000 at the very least, because I think that's the highest ornamental you can get. Otherwise, I haven't seen one any higher than that one. Third stage, Season Echo, 5-star season unit selection box times 1. Fourth stage, Doctrine Spirit. Immortal Spirit, complete 10 out of 12 tasks for a stage. Unlocks 20th of April, UTC plus 1200 hours, UT plus 8. First stage, 4 Epic Wisdoms. Second stage, 4 Epic Wisdoms. Third stage, 1 Pure Wisdom. And the fourth stage, 1 Season Echo Tier 5 Doctrine Selection. That's an absolutely incredible reward. That's insane. I think that one's likely gonna be purchased. If anything, I think people will spend money to buy it because that's pure power. That's pure power. There is definitely, like, depending on what unit you want to build out, grabbing the tier 5 selection box, this one would definitely be a night and day difference once you use it. Definitely one of the best rewards ever because it's just a straight selection box. New players definitely new players should definitely get this as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Even if you don't use it straight away, get this as soon as possible. The Season Rune, Tempering Armor, reduce unit damage by 20% after being attacked by units. Damage taken from units is initially reduced by 15% for 5 seconds. Triggers once every 15 seconds. Wow, that's really incredible. Battlefield survival, reduced unit damage by 20% when health is below 50%. Damage taken from units is additionally reduced by 10%. Costs 3 rune power. Oh, okay. That's either. I feel like this one would be better for heavy. This one would definitely be better for light. Avalon Blessing restores 2% max health per second while at an allied supply point. That's alright. Armada's Glory increase maximum health by 5% upon death. Nearby allies instantly recover 10%. What? They increased that from 3 to 5%. That's incredible. Instantly recover 10% of their maximum health. Costs 2 rune power. And it's only 2 rune power. That's incredible. Hadong's Resolves. Damage taken is reduced by 10% while knocked down, knocked back, knocked down, knocked up, and concussed states. Damage taken is additionally reduced by 5%. Oh, hang on. Sorry. I read that wrong. So it's in two parts. Damage taken is reduced by 10%. Just straight up 10% damage reduction. While in knockback, knockdown, knock up, and concussed state, damage taken is additionally reduced by 5%, costs 3 rune power. Interestingly enough, the choke state and the daze state are not included. Very interesting. Divine Right. Damage taken is reduced by 10% while on. Sorry. Damage is reduced by 10%. While on capture point, damage taken is additionally reduced by 5%. Costs 3 rune power. Alright. This seems kind of ridiculous. I'm feeling this is kind of ridiculous. Like, what am I reading? Dragonblood Bat. All defense values increase by 3.5% when health is below. All defense values increase by 3.5%. All right. When health is below 50%, all defense values are additionally increased by 2.5% for 5 seconds. Triggers once every 30 seconds. Costs 2 rune powers. Hmm. I'm not sure, actually. I feel like these two are already incredible that I feel like grabbing this one. Oh man, but this could be absolute overkill for heavies. Like, compared to 5% max health increase, increasing your defense value, especially if you have really high defense value already, even though it's only 3.5%, it's a 5% versus 3.5%. It's going to be a math thing. Oh, and it's going to be dependent on your enemy's pen and stuff. Ooh, that that could be tricky on which of these two would be better. Because obviously the capture point one is worse, just in general, because you barely fight on capture point. Could be great if you actually fight on capture point, but getting CC'd, you get CC'd a ton. Braces, Kangang Majesty. I'll probably said that wrong. Upon casting an ultimate, increase all your. Oh no, they've gone back to this. Oh, they've gone back to like super strong hero stuff, which I'm not surprised at this point. I feel like we needed a season where heroes just absolutely bonkers after just getting absolutely wrecked by every single unit known to man. Increases all your damage types by 10% for 5 seconds. Costs 3 rune power. Gladiator's finisher. When your ultimate hits, reduce enemy defense values of all types by 5% for 5 seconds. Costs 3 rune power. Phalanx Breaker. Damage to units increased by 6%. Costs 2 rune power. Hero Hunter, damage to heroes increased by 6%, costs 2 rune power. Interesting. So you can be anti-hero or anti-unit. Boot. Competitive edge while on a capture point, stamina recovery speed is increased by 35%, costs 3 rune power. Relentless Crusade movement speed increased by 6%. They increased that? Jesus, why? I don't think it was 6%. Upon death, nearby allies gain an 8% movement speed increase for 10 seconds. Costs 3 rune power. Numbing Remedy reduces bandage duration by 40% while keeping the total healing amount unchanged. Costs 2 rune power. Rod of I have no idea. I'm not even gonna attempt that one. During bandage, the movement speed slowdown effect is lowered from 50% to 30%. Costs 2 rune power. All right, on to the weapon runes. We haven't even gotten to like the balance changes. Yeah, this is gonna be such a long video. Poleaxe, body of Beowulf. After entering combat, your maximum health gradually increases over 300 seconds, up to a maximum of 3,000 upon resets upon death. Costs 3 rune power. Oh, that one's a returning one. I have a distinct feeling that we've actually had that one. Impending Doom. For each unit hit by weapon dance, the ultimate cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds, costs 3 rune power. 3,000 extra health versus ultimate cooldown reduction. Emperor's Mantle. Damage taken is reduced by 10% during your ultimate, costs 2 rune power. Glaive. Azur's Dragon Outrage grants immunity to all crowd control effects except Winded. I'll tell you right now, very upset that they've changed Choke to Winded. I don't like Winded. It's a MyG thing, and the fact that they're going with the MyG translation, very upsetting. Honestly, very upsetting. It's been Choke. It should have been changed to Choke. It should stay Choke. When using Hail of Blades and Flying Reaper costs 3 rune power. Star Chaser, when the charge duration of charge exceeds 2 seconds, your own slashing damage and slashing armor penetration are increased by 25% for 5 seconds. Wow! Wow! Actually, I really like that one. That one's a really cool one. The fact that it's only 5 seconds is actually disappointing, though. You don't have very much time with 5 seconds. Kind of like a one and done thing. You could probably get a second attack, just depending on like whether or not you get interrupted and stuff. And Chuyo's Dance grants immunity to all crowd control effects except Winded during turn and attack. Costs 2 rune power. Not that you can get choked off your horse. You can get dismounted though. Don't think you're immune to dismount though. So that's the funny thing. So instead of Winded, it should say dismount. It doesn't accept dismount. And also, to be honest, this is the kind of confusing thing as well. Like, turn and attack can't be stopped, even if you get hit with a CC, while you're on horseback. This is the kind of thing. It's just like, turn and attack will go through, even if you get hit by concussion, even if you get hit by, like, anything, as far as I understand it. It will go through. So, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe there's some weird interactions that I'm not really aware about, but that feels like they don't actually know what it is, unless it grants immunity to the horse. That would be good actually. CC immunity for the horse can be good. It stops you from getting stopping the horse from getting stunned. I mean, which can stop you in your track and stuff. Okay. Maul, when releasing something Oath. When releasing skills consumes stamina, damage taken is reduced by 10%, and damage dealt is increased by 8% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times, costs 3 rune power. Ah, okay. This one's a returning one. I don't remember when, but I think this is a returning one. We've had this one before. Not that anyone used, or maybe it's a new one. Maybe it's a new one. Radiant Smite. When using Maelstrom, the third strike increases defense by 10%. The fourth strike grants immunity all control effects except winded and increases defense by 18%. Am I confused? Um, one. Oh, oh, that's because Maelstrom's yeah, that's because Maelstrom's is a 5 part attack. That's right. Oh God. Um, I think it's a 5 part attack. I can't even log in to remember it anymore because I could have sworn that the final attack is already control immune. So I don't understand why they're giving it double control immunity unless um the final attack is the fifth attack and the fourth one is also getting crowd control immunity, which is actually kind of cool. Um, but the weird thing is that this one, I feel like this one should be a 2 power one, just because no one uses the skills in order. That would actually allow if you had this being 2 rune power and this being 3 rune power, you could combine these two. Would actually make people use the Maelstrom in series instead of skipping it. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Obviously, obviously the alternate one should just be grants immunity or control effects to Bone Breaker, the alternate one, or give it to both actually. Um, give it give it control immunity while charging for Bone Breaker and Heavy Strike. I think it's whole Heavy Strike or is it Earthquake? That's what I would have done for the alternate one. This 2 rune power is not even worth considering half the time because, I mean, it's not that it's not useful. 30% reduction on stamina cost. That means you got more stamina to dodge and get out of terrible situations. Oh, longsword and shield, always with the terrible one. Um, after Holy Absolution, after using an ultimate, restores 0.5% max health per second for 10 seconds. Honestly, should just give them something like the Poleaxe one. That would have been way better, or just a straight up increase max health for 10 seconds or something. That would have been way better than whatever this is. Feral Strike. This one's a returning one, actually. We've had this one before. Block break value of Shield Bash is increased by 600 points. Um, should just make it 1,000, honestly. Um, Shield Bash is such a unused skill as it is. It's a gimmick skill because ever since they removed the recovery portion of Shield Bash, no one uses it really, except that one time. Except during the time Chariot was like going out like crazy, and a Shield Bash on Chariot for that 70% slow was absolute killer. Um, Olympians Radiance, when health is above 70%, all damage values are increased by 100. Pretty trash 2 rune power one. Sword, Sword, and Shield. Unshakable Rock grants immunity to all control effect except Winded when using Centurion Drill, and Thunderstruck costs 3 rune power. Hungu Bastion. When using Ironside units, defense is increased by 30%, costs 3 rune power. Abyssal Flow. When attacked by units, all defense values are increased by 20 points for 7 seconds, stacks up to 8 times, and max stacks triggers a one-time effect, restoring 2% max health per second over 5 seconds.
Hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. So, What this is implying is that you get hit a bunch of times. Okay, so there could be several ways that they've done this. So it stacks up to 8 times, 20 points, 160 additional points of defenses in all defenses. You heal 2% max health over 5 seconds at 10% health restored. If you drop out, it's definitely gonna be either you hit max stacks, you stay at max stacks, and it triggers a 10% heal, or it consumes stacks to give you the heal resetting. No, it doesn't feel like it consumes actually because of how why they've written triggers a one-time effect restoring 2% max health. That means you will hit max stacks. That means you will have to drop all of the stacks. That means you have to drop out for at least 7 seconds and then jump back in, and then you'll get another heal. So that's this is a really cool and obviously super powerful two rune power. It's actually so strong. I think that I would swap these two. I would swap these two around. That's how honestly strong I think this abyssal flow is in terms of power. I think it should be a 3 rune power. I think it should be a 3 rune power thing. This Ironside unit one actually not as concerning as this one is. Just because of just it applies. It's not locked to like a skill or anything. Ironside has such a long cooldown as well, so the problem here is Ironside's cooldown, and obviously you're using it on your unit when when you're forced to use it for your unit instead of keeping Ironside for yourself. So there's opportunity cost here as well. Um, mm, all really good runes for Short Sword and Shields, which also correlates with them getting like buffed this season. Spear. Um, Serpent King's Venom. Each stack of hard hitting additionally increases damage of all types by 2%. Costs three costs 3 rune power. Hang on. What? So not only do you get 2% damage, I mean, not only do you get 2% pen, 2% damage reduction, you also get 2% pen, and it stacks up to 10 times. I mean, 2% damage you get, and it stacks up to 10 times. My goodness, man, that's. I mean, Nodachi is the most overloaded one in terms of like effects for passives, but that's really strong. That's really strong. Um, Favor of Tangri, reduce reduce stamina cost consumption by 20% when right clicking while mounted. Costs 3 rune power. Desert Raid, when your mounted normal attack hits an enemy, Ooh! The cooldown of full tilt charge mounted E skill is reduced by 3 seconds. Costs 2 rune power. Ah! A spear person's got the person that actually plays spear gonna probably have to correct me on this, but ever since. Oh shit! What have I done wrong here? Oh, okay. That's very interesting. That's right. Um, I I've got confused what the right click mounted was because they've changed it, and that's very interesting. I feel like this one's not very good actually because the right click while mounted is now a mini charge, so spears don't rely on full tilted charge anymore. Um, so maybe a spear player can tell me whether or not this 2 rune power is actually going to be even considered, whether or not the raw stats would probably be better. Um, Maybe it would just drastically increase your mobility. I would have had to have guessed. Mostly because full tilted charge, I can't remember if it uses stamina or not. I'm pretty sure it uses horse stamina. Hmm. Anyway, continuing on to Pike, Coiling Serpent, using Wandering Dragon grants one stack of Dragon's Courage effect, reducing damage taken by 5% for 4 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. At maximum stacks, Water Dragon, Cold Dragon, and Green Dragon ignores. I think I just had like an aneurysm when I just read that. Coiling Serpent, using Water Dragon grants one stack of Dragon's Courage effect, reducing damage taken by 5% for 4 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. At max stacks, Water Dragon, Cold Dragon, and Green Dragon ignores 50% of target's defense for 7 seconds. Where's Sky Dragon? They're not even they Sky Dragon doesn't even exist at this point. Still, that's kind of insane. Like 50% of the target's defense for 7 seconds. When you reach max, or every time you get it, it gives you 7 seconds. That's gonna I mean, you have to use Wandering Dragon, which is the only problem with this. It's just like you just actually keeping up max stacks or getting max stacks might be tricky because you're gonna drop it immediately once you unleash. So it's kind of like a it's a triple flip. So you're skipping one of your triple level threes, yeah. That's still really strong though. That's still really strong. Um Soul Dragon Infusion. Green Dragon achieves the damage and knock-up effect of a 1 second charge without requiring any charge time. Costs 3 rune power. Fortunately, this doesn't have the same reach as the. Um, it uses the same animation as whatever charge level you charge it up from, unlike the Nodachi one, which gives you straight top level charge. Homage to the Phoenix each time the third strike of Water Dragon or Wandering third strike of Wandering Dragon. Wandering Dragon doesn't hit anything though. Water Dragon or Sky Dragon is used. Oh, okay. When it says third strike, it means when you use the ability. Um, is used. The ultimate cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. That's again like it, the ultimate cooldown is just really low anyway, at just really strong just to have this, considering that you could probably um throw out third strikes like at least twice, so that's 12 seconds off of your ultimate cooldown, and you'll probably only have a few seconds. Alright, Nodachi. Profane Healing. When Life Drain is triggered, 30% of healing effect is converted into damage applied to the enemy. Costs 3 rune power. Void Flash. Dragon Leap achieves the damage and knock-up effect of a 2-second charge without charging, and refreshes the cooldown of all skills except the ultimate. Why did they change the name? This should be heroic. This should be heroic slash or heroic strike. This should be heroic strike. Unless they've changed something, which I haven't so far. Hitting enemies with skills grants Heroic Blessing, increasing damage by 2% and life drain by 1.5% per stack, up to 15 stacks, lasting 6 seconds, loses 3 stacks when the duration ends. Losing 3 stacks at a time. So it doesn't drop the whole thing, it drops 3 at a time. Costs 3 rune power. Um, oh! All right. Um, Ward, something Ward. I don't know. I don't know how to say that name. Grants a 4,000 point shield while in the bloodbath state. How often is this shield refreshed? Or is this every time you enter the bloodbath state, you get a 4,000 point shield? Um, and it lasts, and its duration is as long as bloodbath itself. That's super interesting, actually. Way stronger than the 10% damage conversion to bleed. Hmm. Oh wow. Okay. Nodachi got a cool change. That one change is cool, I think. Hmm. Musket, Sultan's Roar. Normal attack hits, triggers, and normal attack hits, triggers, an explosion around the enemy, dealing 300 burning damage. How big is the radius? They didn't give us a radius, so people are going to have to test that. Costs 3 rune powers. Twin Thunders. Oh, I hate this one. Within 10 seconds of using Black Powder Grenade, it can be cast one more time. Triggers only one time per cooldown cycle. Cooldown increases by 15 seconds. Costs 3 rune power. Northern Lion's Roar. Bullets fired by normal attacks are replaced with Grape Shot. I wonder how these two interact. Sultan's Roar and Northern Lion's Roar. If it's mutually exclusive, that's fine. I mean, like, that's understandable why. But if they're not, that's kind of crazy. And also very hilarious. Um, but the damage is also flat, so that's also upsetting. It doesn't scale with anything of the musket, so 300 burning damage as well. Since it is fire damage, there's plenty of units with fire resistance, so it's not going to be like 300 burning damage is nothing really. If anything, it's just slightly more CC. Um, if you can even trigger the frighten effect of it, that's also going to be another interesting thing to watch out for. If the burning damage will trigger the frightened state. All right, bow. Sherwood Piercer. Your fully charged and overcharged normal attack hitting enemy units can pierce through 2 additional units, dealing 60% damage. I thought they might have done something. I thought they might do something like this. This one's really cool. This one's honestly really cool. Um, Costs 3 rune power. Full of 9 suns. For each enemy hit by lightning bolt, the cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds. Oh, okay. They had this one before. Longbowman's Code. Damage against ranged units increased by 15%. That's a what? That's a whatever. Makes it easier to one shot, I guess. Um, with this one and this one, like that could you could wipe out ranged units super damn fast. Also, units blocking, um, it will be much harder to defend. It will be much harder to defend your special units from a longbow now because because of the piercing effect. You're gonna have to. Oh man, that's gonna be really annoying to try to defend. Trying to find hiding spots or use units to defend against a bow. Because if you're exposed, they will be able to just shoot at them with impunity now. No way to stop it. Wow. Okay. That's I didn't realize how annoying that actually would be. I think it might be even more annoying than I realize. But still, like each of their shots now able to deal 220% damage. That's quite incredible. Like the pressure from a bow. I might actually use a bow just because of this rune. The output of your damage against units in general are just it's so incredible. Short bow. Zephyr. After rolling, your normal attack will fire through. Huh? Your normal attacks will fire 3 arrows simultaneously for 4 seconds, dealing 60% damage and slowing enemies by 10% for 5 seconds. Costs 3 rune power. Interesting. Bloodstorm Mark. Wrath of Artemis and Angry Hornet applies Mark to enemies, which can be detonated by normal attacks. Costs 3 rune power. Wind Whisper. Enhanced attacks each stack additionally increase. Oh my god, they've written this so badly. Enhanced attacks. Enhanced attacks additionally increase the piercing damage by 4.5% and movement speed by 4.5%. Max stacks reduced to 5% duration, increased by 2 seconds. So basically, what they've done is compact enhance attack from having you to stack. I think it's like 30 stacks down to 5, but the total bonus is still the same. Um, from what I understand. So that's from what I understand. Um, this short bow with this, even at 60%, like this is the kind of thing that range getting will help them just like output so much damage to multiple units. It's the kind of help that they needed. As long as these arrows are fired in such a way where at a reasonable distance, it's impossible for the short bow to hit the same target with three with this with different arrows. Like you can't shoot 3 arrows into someone's face, basically. As long as that doesn't happen, I think that it should be fine. Um, but if you are able to shotgun people with this, um, this might actually this might actually be really scary because shortbow people, good shortbow people, um, essentially is going to get a massive buff in terms of like damage. I feel like if I feel like if you don't have a good block class, if you don't have a good block, you're going to get shredded by a short bow at short range. At least the bow, I don't have to fear in terms of just like anti-hero kind of capabilities. It's still relative just to how strong the bow's attacks are, which honestly I thought it would be more prevalent. There's just so few people that are good at longbow and actually good at sniping heroes that are actually reliable. But then again, at the same time, no one focuses on heroes anymore since units are just king, absolutely murdering every single hero and unit like one sweep. Dual blades, Assassin's Doom, hitting a target with a skill while in sneak causes them to lose 4% of their current health per second for 5 seconds and reduces healing received by 60%, costs 3 rune power. This one's quite fair in terms of just like rune power. I feel like 4% of their current health. It's not a kill, it's definitely like it's a starter thing. Like it get less powerful the lower health you get, but like if we didn't have sustain, this current health thing, the value of it would be incredible, especially against some of the harder to kill stuff. Um, Fuma's breath, not birth. After entering sneak, critical value sharply increases every 3 seconds. Scales with your base critical value. Upon exiting sneak, this effect gradually diminishes. Bow Shuriken and Thunderbolt can also trigger this. Cost 3 rune power.
Hmm.
This is not a bad one. if you actually play in sneak and just constantly just go in and out of sneak, you could just have an insane critical value that you basically crit on every hit. Cooldown of bow shuriken swallows return, but cooldown of bow shuriken reduced by 1.5 seconds. Range increased, but this had to return. You got to be kidding me! I hate this thing already. Cost 2 rune power. Ugh, ugh. This one's so strong. Honestly, the thing about bow shuriken is that it's not its damage that's really frightening. It's its bleed. 25% increased range, and it can hit so many targets. Just from the fact of just this has been in the game before, I wouldn't be surprised if like I just see dual I just see like um oh my god, I just realized how disgusting. Oh, okay, hang on, no. Hitting a target with a skill while in sneak causes them. Okay, so so I don't actually have to worry about what I was thinking. Um, but still, the bow shuriken thing should be a 3 rune power thing. Like, there's no way something this strong should be 2. So again, Jewel Blade also got 3 really good runes this season. Chain Dart and Scimitar. Crescent Scar, landing an attack on an enemy hero, applies 1 stack of a 4-second mark, reaching 5 stacks, inflict bleed damage equal to 20% of their current health. A single target can only take this damage once every 15 seconds. Obviously. They're just copying. They literally took a passive from Bastard Sword and just put it on a rune for Chain Dart and Scimitar. But instead of it just being on a single ability, it's now any attack can just apply a 4-second mark. I mean, you have to hit them 5 times, but I don't think that's hard, considering that you could probably just use basic attacks. 15-second limitation, guess that's alright in terms of like cost value, and obviously it's only 20% of their current health, so it's a starter kind of thing that's really frightening at the beginning. Predator. Oh, hang on. I just completely skipped the second one. Sanguine's Heritage. Each stinging strike hit reduces Scorpion Snare's cooldown by an additional 1 second. Did I read that right? An additional 1 second. Each hit. Um, if that works out like how I think it does, because each dagger, as far as I understand it, can hit twice, and you throw 3 of them. You can only reduce the cooldown by 3 seconds, 1 for each dagger on Scorpion Snare and Leap Slash. But if it's an additional 1 second, it could be a limitation of 6 seconds. But if it's on each hit, it could be an additional 6 seconds, which is 9 seconds in total. I hope it doesn't work like that, because that would be insane. 2 swings, and you could Scorpion Snare again. Against a single target, it would still work as intended, but in battle, when there's multiple people around, that could be super scary if it works like how I think it works, but it probably doesn't. I hope it doesn't. Predator. Damage against healing heroes and units is increased by 15%. That's why. That's insane. 15% is insane. Not to mention you also got like the 6% up there as well. Spear and Shield. Gunny is Gaze, headshot damage of Hercules throw and Hercules mounted throw increased by 10%. Berserker's Blood, damage taken during Spartan Kick is reduced by 30%, grants immunity to all control effects except winded during Spartan Kick, costs 3 rune power. Of course they had to return this. People were complaining so much that um, Shield and Spear was too weak. It wasn't. Honestly, like it was honestly, if you know how to play Spear and Shield well, you're basically stupid strong. You the fact that Spartan Kick is it's on a 10 second cooldown, you come on, like seriously, just get like at the very least get rid of this part. Like Jesus Christ, man, grants the control. Oh man, I don't know. Oh man, they haven't done it yet. I still think that Shield and Spear needs to be nerfed. Bass's sword needs to be nerfed. There's just I just don't understand why they haven't done it. But at the same time, I have an understanding that the devs will probably not nerf it at all, or at least in a way that doesn't target the problematic things. Instead, they will weaken it on other angles so that it hyper focuses on the fun stuff. If I would have had to guess, Mars resolves, damage dealt by critical hits during Ares cleave is increased by 10%. That, again, insane. The free critical value on Ares cleave is insane. You're basically like a 50% chance of getting critical hits on Ares cleave just by default. And you're just basically increasing that damage by 10% with Mars Resolve, so that's just free damage, essentially. Bastard Sword, Cascading Waves. When Hugh hits an enemy, they take 10% increased damage from Riposte for 2 seconds. When Riposte hits, they take 20% increased damage from Hugh for 2 seconds, costs 3 rune power. King's Wrath, when guarding for more than 1 second, your next heavy attack knocks down the enemy, costs 3 rune power. Royal Waltz, enemy units can be knocked back during Molionette Advance, costs 2 rune power. Ugh, I'm not even done. Alright. Season Fame. The Rose, Ash, and Bloom season fame will be cleared. The season Echo Fame will begin. Fame obtained from donating to the Fame Envoy in Season Echo is increased by 20%. Fame obtained from matchmaking, battle, and bandit raids drops in Season Echo is increased by 20%. If the limit is not also increased by 20%, we have a problem. Fame store rewards are as followed. I'm not going to read this out. You can just take a look. The links will be down below. Attire. Hero attire, Reforged Azure. Interesting. Okay. System optimization. New unit tree, Soul of the Norse. Which is really hilarious. At the edge of the frozen sea and mountain lies a legendary land forged by war songs and steel. This is the Soul of the Norse. The all-new unit tree, Soul of the North, is now available. Warlords can use Honor to unlock the Nordic series units, including Season 5, Scourge of Winter, Armature Lancers, Landsnakes, does not include the Liao Rangers. Season 6, Wolves of Ragnarok, Shield Maidens, includes Shield Maidens, Berserkers, Sons of Fenrir. Season 9, no, I read that wrong. Season 11, no, I read that wrong. Season 9, I read that right the first time. Highlanders, Houndsmen, Claymores, and Bagpipers. Season 11, Helheim, Varangian Guards, Huskarls. Previous season challenge progress is retained. Warlords can still unlock these units via season challenges. Unlocked units will automatically activate their corresponding unit tree node. The 3-star and 4-star units listed above can also use honor to unlock brand new upgrade nodes. As you can see, um, well, this is probably speed for Fenris. Piercing damage, anti-cavalry, so 10% extra cavalry damage, extra piercing damage. These nodes are probably just unlock nodes, maybe. Might be wrong about that. We'll have to see. Um, I'm guessing that's piercing damage. I'm not sure about this one. I highly doubt it's going to be anti-cavalry, and obviously extra health. Extra health berserkers, slashing damage, blunt damage or blunt penetration for Huskarls, which is interesting. Movement speed and health, the only thing you can give it really. Um, Again, defense and slashing damage for those two. So, hmm. New premium account privilege. So, premium account benefit upgrades. So, new premium account privilege doctrines. Warlords with an active premium account can equip a customized set of premium account privilege doctrines for all their units for free. This doctrine cannot be equipped, but warlords can override it by equipping their own doctrines. This doctrine cannot be unequipped, but warlords can override it by equipping their own doctrines. The premium account privilege doctrines will take no effect if the unit is used by another player in any manner. Ah, okay, very interesting. So the privilege doctrines are special; only the player can use it. So you can't be a knight, hand it to your squire, and have them use those privilege doctrines. Um, so they've kind of made sure that you can't take advantage of it like that. Even though it wouldn't really matter too much if you did. New Knight share roster feature when a Squire teams up with. Oh, sorry. This is the Knight and Squire system upgrade. When a Squire teams up with a Knight to play siege battles and other modes, the Squire can opt to deploy using the Knight's shared roster instead of their own. Oh, whoa. That's actually kind of insane. This directly copies the Knight's leadership and unit attributes, quickly bridging the power gap. That's really cool. Knights can easily configure multiple share roster using the units they own. Units included in the share roster will not have their progress or customizations locked, and the Knight faces no restrictions when using these units themselves. There is no limit on how many times a Squire can use the share roster provided they are grouped with the Knight, excluding world modes, ranked battle, and certain event modes. When a knight groups with multiple squires, the squires can share the same shared roster. Unit XP earned by squires while using the shared roster will be transferred to the shared XP pool. Oh, okay. So the squire still earns unit XP like normal. It won't be transferred to the units such that if the unit that the squire is using is not fully leveled, they won't level that unit. Instead, it will be sent to the shared XP pool. Is how I understand it. Squire, or is there a limitation on the shared roster to only include fully leveled units? Squires will not consume unit kits when using the shared roster. Casualties or unit losses suffered by the knight's own units will not affect the shared roster used by the squire. So they're always going to be at 100%, which is cool. New weekly group quest for knights and squires. After a knight assigns a training unit to a squire, both will receive a weekly group request. By completing any match together, including world modes, both parties will finish the quest and earn rich rewards. The knight is rewarded with a mental accommodation gift box, and the squire receives a greater scroll of glory. This is a time-limited quest lasting 1 week, refreshing every Monday. At the start of each week, the knight receives one group quest for every squire assigned a training unit. Squires will only receive one group quest if a squire fails to complete the group quest for 2 consecutive weeks. Their access to the training unit will be temporarily suspended until they complete a group quest. Oh, very interesting. If the knight has not assigned a training unit, neither the squire nor the knight will receive the group quest. The cooldown for knights to change an assigned training unit is reduced from 7 days to 1 hour. Squire graduation rewards update. Squire graduation reward update. Harangs has been added to the selectable 5-star uh, season units. Starting from season Echo, Warlords can now normally unlock the corresponding unit tree nodes when using the graduation exclusive 5-star seasonal unit selection box from graduation rewards. Okay. Massive upgrade to newcomer benefit. All characters newly created after the launch of Season Echo will trigger a 30-day Auctioneer's Incentive event upon reaching level 40. During the event, logging in daily will unlock various activity rewards for a total of 14 days. Completing quest grants points and associated resources reward. Assorted, not associated. Assorted resource rewards. Upon quest completion, resource rewards are first stored in the prize pool. What? The quest also grants points. As points accumulate, the multiplier for the prize pool increases. Warlords can claim rewards from the pool at up to a 6x multiplier. Oh, that's really weird. Rewards in the pool can be claimed early at a lower multiplier without affecting the multiplier for subsequent earned rewards. That's dumb. You would just. I'm so confused. Why would. Alright, alright, alright. So essentially, what this is saying is that rewards are put into a prize pool, which accumulates points depending on the quest you complete. That increases the multiplier up to 6 times. You can claim the rewards in the pool at any multiplier, but why would you? You would just wait until 6x and then claim all of the rewards. Hmm. I don't see a downside to this, besides the fact that you're just waiting longer to get the rewards. Alright. And you can take them out without having the multiplier be reset, which is also interesting. After the 30-day event ends, Warlords can no longer unlock new quests via logins nor complete active quests. You may only claim rewards from the interface, so please pay attention to the event duration. Oh, okay. So the quests have to complete them, get the points. You only have 30 days to get points in order to get higher multipliers. Um, that's why it says it can be claimed at lower multiplier, because what's probably going to happen is that new player does quests, the rewards are not given straight away. Blah 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 blah. They have to play consistently for like a period of time, and at the end of the 30-day event, they'll claim all of their rewards all at once and get a big boon and hopefully play a little bit longer. So it's a double trap. It's a like a double trap. So it's a FOMO trap where you're trying to get to the 6x multiplier, and then it's a spending trap because it traps all of your resources into a bundle that you get at the end that you'll spend and get this huge boost, and then all of a sudden just you'll just skyrocket, be stronger than at the be stronger than the relative level you were at. Okay, that makes sense. What they did. Free houses and returnee system adjustment. Once the season starts, all returning players will be designated as season returnees. A status available until the beginning of the next season. For every season returnee in a house who has logged in within these last 7 days, the house receives 1 stack world buff, up to a maximum of 5 stacks. World buff effects. World marching food consumption reduced by 4% per stack, maximum 20%. World marching speed increased by 2% per stack, max 10%. House bounty quests will automatically generate one additional Brotherhood quest each week among the available 3 tasks. Completion grants supply token times 10. Group up with a season returnee from your house and collectively defeat 500 enemy soldiers in field slash siege slash field battles. Progress shared within the group. If it's a group of 5, you complete that in one go. Group up with a season returning from your house and collectively defeat 20 enemy warlords in siege slash field battles. Progression shared within the group. Group up with a blah 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 5 times. All right, excellent. Progress shared within the group. Seriously, you just get you get 4 friends together with you, and it's just like boom, done. 2 of these quests are done in like one go. Five, 20 warlords. Sometimes you can just get really shafted, but I'm pretty sure most groups could probably finish that in 4, maybe 5 games if you're shit. Inventory expansion. Upon starting from season start, warlords can obtain a total of 16 inventory expansion items through the following method. Using one item inside the inventory unlocks one. Just get one free. Just use an item. The top-up bonus progression rewards includes an extra 8. Oh, what? Okay, I hope it gives it to me if I've unlocked them. But I'm also thinking that the top-up thing is going to be like super stupidly high, or maybe. Completing certain achievements in the unit series grants 8 inventory expansion items. Great. So they basically locked it behind trash. Item merging support for bound and not bound versions. Upon season start, warlords can merge 2 identical items occupying different inventory slots if they meet the following conditions. The item in the slot are the bound and not bound version of the exact same item. Both items are permanent items. When these conditions are met, warlords can drag one onto the other to merge them. The merged items will become bound. Alright, interesting. Rank battle matchmaking adjustment. The rank bounty obtained from weekly settlement is increased by 20% in Season of Echo. New items in the bounty store. Ah, yeah, I read about this. Rank battle unit attire selection box. Redeemable at 500 rank bounty each. Limited to 1 per season. That's really good. That's really good. That means you can get two per season. That means people can actually catch up. Um, Holy shit. We're finally getting on to something that finally something has to do with balance. All of that has to do with like systems and stuff. And we're an hour and 30 minutes in. I'm sorry for anyone that has kept up or has stayed this long for this. Balance adjustment. Short sword and shield mastery adjustment. Alright, so that's just this update log covers the previously implemented adjustment to the short sword and shield and introduces further optimizations. The current live version of uh, short sword and shield mastery is subject to the details outlined in this update log. So this is an update to the update that was given before. So we got a summary before, and this is, I mean, I didn't read the summary out now, but I'll link it down below. So this is what I assume is what's going to be the live version of Short Sword and Shield when the new season unlocks in about 12 hours. I mean, 10 hours. Throw Shield. Special effect. Adds an additional movement speed reduction effect to cavalry units. Shielded Charge. Base damage attribute. First hit blunt damage goes from 134% of base plus. Okay, it's a lot to read. I'm just probably going to just summarize it. Okay, so okay, so your base amount is going from 134% to 216%. That is a incredible 2% increase of base blunt damage, plus going from 923 to 1568, which is a 645 point increase in damage on the first hit. The second hit of blunt damage is going to go from 77% to all the way to 204%. Holy shit. That's 100. I mean, that's what, like, oh man, I can't do math right now. That's 130. No, that's 127. That's 127 percent of your blunt damage increase just slapped on. Um, and the blunt damage is going to go from 531 to 1,479. Holy shit. So basically, like, the damage out from the first hit got increased by like almost 60%. The second hit got increased by over a hundred, by over like al- by almost 180%. And the third one, I, okay. Oh, okay. This is where they go in the reverse. So, um, the third hit goes from 268% going down to 116%. So that's where they changed it around. They shoved it all the way down. Holy cow. But the flat bonus is only losing 300 damage. All right. So the percentage, I think you still get more for 25 536. Oh no, actually. Oh no, 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 no. You get like in terms of total damage, you get like 10% extra damage in total. Nah, way more than that actually. You get way more than 10% extra damage in total because of the flat. Anyway, going on to the special effects. Just how it reads. First and second hit of shielded charge, getting a damage boost. Third hit is damage down. Special effect applies an additional movement speed reduction effect to cavalry units after the control effect ends. Optimize animation transition, movement trajectories, and hitbox for better combat fluidity. I will have to say, there's a special thing with shielded charge is that it actually has a knockdown effect for the first hit, but the first hit doesn't trigger into the second hit all the time, which is very interesting because that also has an additional knockdown effect. But you can't knock down into another knockdown, so there's that. Um, and then you have the unblockable daze attack for the third one. Unblockable daze, so it's only daze, so there's that. So I'm wondering if this does get changed, will shielded charge work like the what's it called? Oh, the charge from the Bastard Sword charge, where you can accurately control how long, because sometimes you will tag something and end your charge earlier than you want to. You actually have to be a pretty good short sword in order to make sure your charge doesn't end early. Um, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's the kind of optimization I'm expecting. So I do think it would be better for short sword to have the charge be controllable in that way, where um, it's not forced to end early if you collide with something. Iron Sight special effect defense boost increase from 75, 100, 125 to 200 across the 3 levels. But the duration is being increased 6, 8, 10 seconds. So at level 3, 10 seconds. So I think this is a 2-second increase from 8 seconds. Defense reduction after weakness. After weakness? After Ironside. It's supposed to say after Ironside. Defense reduction after Ironside lowered from. Oh my god. This is just bad English. So the defense reduction is actually increased. That means the penalty is going higher, from 15% to 20% for 4 seconds. So you're going to take even more damage now from after Ironside ends. If cavalry units are within range, they will be startled. Shield Bash. No one uses Shield Bash. Actually, no. Shield Bash is all right. Special effect. The first 2 Shield Bash hits can both leave enemies concussed. That's very interesting. So if both of the Shield Bashes concuss, that means you don't have to hit an enemy with both of the Shield Bashes in order to concuss, which is actually really good. Mostly for the fact that it's a double concussion, like double concussion. So people who try to cleanse mid combo will get screwed over by the second one. Um, but it also means that like because it's actually really hard to hit both of them on the same target if your spacing's wrong, unless you're just right on top of them and then you can just easily hit it. Um, skill cooldown going from 14 seconds to 8 seconds applies an additional movement speed reduction effect to cavalry units after the control effect ends. There's only one control effect, which is concussion. I'm wondering if they didn't do this properly and also included daze, but that's still to be seen. We're gonna have to see what happens when we actually when we actually see it in battle. Optimize animation, transition, movement speed, movement trajectories, and hitbox for better combat fluidity. Hitbox one will be interesting. I wonder what they have done with the animations. It kind of would be interesting if they made it so that like the skill actually is as fluid as Pike, as Bastard Sword, as Short Sword, and not Short Sword, as Spear and Shield. Because one of the best things about all of those classes, well, I mean, Pike is only really Water Dragon is really the only one that's really got good, and that's only the third attack. But it's how they can move their attacks and not get locked in. That's probably one of the most OP things about those classes. I actually do think that they should go back to kind of like um, semi locked in with the attack animations. As clunky as it feels, it's just that that's just how a lot of the game has been. But moving towards the more fluidity kind of thing just will make this changing and the changing dynamic for things really much more fluid, but also snapshotting, camera swings as well will become more prevalent. I mean, if you're good at Pike, you can do a you can do a you can do a 180 choke where you drag someone around. I'm no good. I can barely do it. I like done it once in a real game, but good pikes can actually take advantage of like being able to swing their camera around. So that applies to every single new updated or optimized animation thing that will have this ability to dynamically change their attack with the camera. Barricade, base damage attributes. All right. Barricade is the one that I don't think anyone. Well, okay. After these changes, people probably use it. So first hit of blood damage, 134 of base, going to 208 of base. Flat, 844 to 1446. Interesting. a big increase. I would say, I want to say, like, just add on 602 for the flat and 74 for the base. 74, just under 50% increase for just under 50% for the base percentage. But the flat damage 600 straight is that's an incredible increase. Also considering this is blunt damage, by the way. Hmm. Second hit blunt damage. It used to deal the same damage, but from 134 and 844, it goes to 254% and 1768. So almost doubled for the base percentage and more than doubled for the flat bonus. So you're going to be seeing people with barricade. Yeah, you're going to be seeing people with barricade hit for like 4,000 damage at a baseline, I would assume. At a baseline. That's an incredible amount of damage coming out from barricade. Special effects. Skill cooldown goes from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, drastically reduced. Changing drastically reduced block value to leaves enemies pierced. I hate that. I mean, seriously, you're just gonna force pierce? Oh, all right, whatever. Decrease enemy attack power by 30%, 40%, 50%. Piercing and slashing armor penetration reduced by 40%. Oh, just piercing and slashing armor penetration reduced by 40% for 3, 4, 5 seconds, depending on level. Casting removes the concussed state. I hope they keep casting removes the dazed and knockdown effects, including knockback and stuff. That would be a big nerf if they can't if this is no longer a recovery skill for even for the basic ones. Concussed, if it adds this, that's really good because like concussion for concussions, only Ironside has removed concussions um for Sword and Shield. So that's really good that they have a second option. Kick, special effect. Um, oh, and also optimize animation, movement trajectory. Movement, I think it's movement trajectories. That's going to be where they can dynamically change the direction of their attacks with the camera. So that's going to be interesting. Um, kick. Cooldown is going from 12 seconds to 8 seconds, so really small cooldown, really short cooldowns. I'm surprised Shield Throw didn't get a cooldown reduction. uh, Drastically. Okay, so also changing from block value, dealing block damage to just straight up just piercing the enemy. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Um, it's still a buff. So just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's not going to enter the game. Um, it's just going to be really stupid because blocking against a short sword will be dumb. So um, shield and spear is going to get shafted, and a bastard sword is going to get shafted because you're just going to instantly get pierced every time you try to use an ability. The first and second attack feature a knockback effect. So the first and second attack will have knockback. Do mind the third attack still has unblockable knockdown. Personal defense boost increased from 20%, 40%. Goes from 20%, now it's 40% for 3 seconds. I actually didn't realize that they had a 20% boost on kick. I didn't even realize that it was they had it. Casting removes concussion state. Excellent. Changing kick to a recovery skill, but if it just removes the concussion state, that's going to be pretty sad. I think and I hope it's going to also add daze and knockdown effects. though that category. Obviously, it doesn't include choke or throw. I mean, knock up. Knock up is going to be the new term for throw. Honestly, I think they should change it back to throw or sent flying. Sent flying is probably the more consistent one. Throw is only referenced once or twice, or was only referenced once or twice in descriptions. Skill type is going to change from damage to control, cleanse, and control. Interesting. I always thought it was a control effect, but whatever. Applies an additional movement speed reduction effect to cavalry units after the control effect ends. Optimize animation, transitions, movement trajectories, hitboxes for better combat fluidity. Centurion drill, my baby. You will never see the light of day. I tried to make this work so many times, it just never did. Base damage attribute. Slashing damage goes from 50, 50, 50 of base to, I mean, plus, just going to say the level 3, so which is 944, to 136% of base and 1,784. A massive increase. I think they stated it to be an increase of 87%. And that's per hit, by the way. You attack 5 times in Centurion Drill. So that's a that's a really strong skill now. See how pathetic its damage was before? See how strong it is now? And I'll still tell you it's still probably going to be weak. But that's for a different reason. Um, Special effects hitting cavalry units will trigger Startle the Horse. It's not a bad effect. Is it any good? Not really. It's, I mean, half the time you just stop cavalry anyway with your other skills at this point. The fact that Centurion Drill startles the horse is kind of like a side grade. It just makes you really good at just pinning down cavalry. The problem is that Centurion Drill is just going to be a damage skill that's not very effective against units, particularly blocking units. So the reason why I say Centurion Drill is probably not going to be any good, it doesn't have any protections. Honestly, Centurion Drill needs to have what Kick has. Increased personal defense, because Centurion Drill just does not have that protection. Either make it CC immune, that would be pretty cool, or give it some kind of defense buff. Secondly, against normal units, just will not be able to do anything. So um, you need to give it a, well, it has a daze effect, but that's here nor there. Units that are susceptible to daze will just get shafted by heroes anyway. But for an ultimate skill, I definitely do think it needs to have at least minimum knockback. Um, and just case in point, block units are just really prevalent nowadays. So increases block break at the very least, or make it unblockable. Um, and that way, that way people will actually use Centurion Drill. Otherwise, the damage is just whatever at this point. It's not scary amounts of damage. Like it's like damage where it's just like I'll have to watch out for it. It's not like, oh my god, dodge. It's just kind of it's something that you can challenge. It's not something that you have to be afraid of. Damage. Unlike a different class that I hope get nerfed. Bastard Sword. You son. Anyway, there's also a whole bunch of like in the background things that also makes some other skills ridiculous, but I'm not gonna mention that because I'm not going to mention adding those things to Centurion Drill because I much prefer a more simpler stuff that are clear. And finally, Thunderstruck base damage attribute. Oh my god. The blunt damage is going to go from 281 to 412% of base. plus 4,954 to 6,238. That's like that's like almost 1,300 in flat, and you get 132% of base. That's like an added um 2,500 damage onto your Thunderstruck. Not that it's actually important because just like damage on Thunderstruck is just not important, but if you hit one person eating 412% plus 6,238 damage, ah, they're gonna feel it, mate. They're gonna feel it. They're definitely gonna be like, what the hell did I just get hit by? Which is really funny because I think this is actually even higher. Um, I think this is actually even higher than before the whole blunt damage reduction. Um, I think it was 4 or 8 back in the day. Um, I think the I think the flat bonus didn't get nuked as hard, but I do think it's higher. I think it used to be like in the 5,700. So, um, I would say this is probably the strongest version of Thunderstruck we will ever see, or we have seen ever. Special effect applies an initial movement speed reduction effect to cavalry after the control effect ends. Optimize animation transitions and movement trajectories. Hitbox for better fluidity, and obviously very cute. Honestly, I think this is so adorable. I find this so adorable. I would fight for this puppy. But obviously, they're just trying to make her really funny. Just trying to make a meme. I don't know why um, the doggo has webbed feet, also human hands. uh, all right, on to the unit balances. You're probably like looking at them. Houndsman, base attribute. Houndsman, base health is going to go from 2,139 to 3,956. My goodness, yes. Health, more health. Give health to ranged unit. It's actually kind of ridiculous how low ranged units' health has been for so long. Fine, give them low health, but don't let it be fractions of your equivalent infantry units. The dynamic of that is just so dumb because while houndsmen and stuff are one hit, like how many times you have to hit infantry in order to kill it? Tens of times. Houndsmen would die within two or three hits. Definitely plenty of stuff can one shot an entire houndsman squad. An entire houndsman unit. But then again, that's also just like here nor there because you got units that can just get one. You get even the tankiest units getting one shot. I mean, I just watched a ISG get three shotted by a Liao. And that's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Base health growth increases 55. So that's an additional 600. So they should actually sit. Oh wow. My math is correct. Plus some. Well, it depends on like the nodes anyway. But their base should be like 5.5, like mid. It should be around about 5.5, 5.5 thousand. It should sit almost at 6,000, almost at 6,000. You'll be really close to 6,000, 6,000 health, which should actually put them higher than both the longbows and the harangs, which is good, good, because they're shorter range. Um, they're shorter range. Oh, finally, you're buffing the damage. Base piercing damage is going from 1140 to 1540. Just a straight 400 increase. Jesus. Base piercing armor penetration. Penetration was literally tier 3 level. Like tier you're not breaking any armor on tier 5. Not that you relied on breaking armor at that point, um getting through armor at that point. You just relied on your bleed and your dogs. But anyway, it's going from 1499 to 1739. Which I think is a 240 increase. Not as high as I would want it, but it doesn't really matter since the 400 base damage increase is probably the more important thing, but it mostly relies on its bleed to deal most of its damage. So, um, if anything, this is just going to be really terrifying to the mid armor stuff. Otherwise, the heavy armor stuff might actually have to start considering not to get hit by Houndsman, but they already were afraid of the bleed anyway. So, um, so it's. I feel like this is not even important because of how the bleed works. If anything, the base health increase and growth is going to be the most important part of this. So, um, just having the Houndsman live longer will be the greatest strength. Will be the greatest buff for the Houndsman. For the Hounds themselves, they're getting a base piercing defense increase from 300 to 700. So instead of 300 across the board, it's now 700 just for piercing defense and 300 for the other two. Reduced damage taken from brace by 50%. That's really interesting. Um, they'll probably they'll probably just get themselves skewered anyway. But I'm wondering if that happens after the fact. That also means that brace units are no longer going to be able to handle Houndsmen fairly easily. Oh, this also makes it a really bit annoying because it just means that if they take 50% less damage from brace and they have 50% less damage from infantry, if that's multiplicative or if that's additive, I think it might be multiplicative. If it's multiplicative, that's just going to be really annoying. But at the same time, they also have this healing passive that you hit them, they heal. It's 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 going to be a whole thing. I think the hounds might be too difficult to kill with brace units now, and it's so difficult to hit with normal units that I've got a feeling that this change here might make the hounds too annoying to deal with. But that we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that works out. Base cooldown reduction going from 15 to 12 on hunting stance. Um, they haven't said anything about fixing the hunting stance. Again, the hunting stance has a problem where it targets where the target was going at the time of casting versus when they release the skill. Really need to update hunting stance to track as they're casting, not on activation, because that's the most annoying part of this skill of why it misses 99% of the time. Hobbling shot base cooldown going from 20 seconds to 13 seconds. All right. Get him. When the hound leave a target concussed, it no longer removes the slow effect inflicted by hobbling shot. Fixed an issue where the unit training node that increases shooting range did not take effect. I didn't realize that. This might have to do with how the houndsmen are coded, because at certain shooting ranges, they just shoot straight up into the air. I don't know how they've programmed it, but like houndsmen have a pretty straight shot. If they were just have normal trajectory and stuff when you like aim and thing, they would shoot so far. Like they would make they're basically like would have been like harangs if they were allowed to shoot where they were allowed to shoot. But they're not allowed to shoot at a certain distance. So I think this is what this node is trying to fix. I think someone brought it up before. Varangian guards. I hate reading this. I'm reading this right now, and it's like, why? Raging Onslaught gains the Unbreakable effect when switching weapons, granting a block effect. Hear me out. Giving block to Varangian guards in axe mode, you're just making a better um oh my god, zealot. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. The alternative, if the granting block effect is only to the back, that would be cool. That would be cool. I don't think it's that. I think this is I think this would just send Varangian guards straight into the meta. No joke. Straight meta. Varangian guards just straight into the meta because they're CC immune while they use their skills. If they only grant a blocking effect while they're using their skills, they're unstoppable. Unstoppable. Not to mention, the basic unbreakable effect is a 30% damage reduction plus an additional 30% damage reduction for 1.4 seconds. Do mind, when they use their axe skills, there is a hidden 30% damage reduction. These guys are 90%. Okay, might be multiplicative, but the idea is that they have so much damage reduction that they're going to take zero damage if it works like if it works like how I think it's going to work. But if it's the un if unbreakable effect is just granting a block effect, fine, fine. That's still OP. CCI plus blocking, invincible anyway. Invincible anyway. Only stuff that have unblockable attacks will matter against the Varangian guards because they'll just trash everything else. Literally, they'll just trash everything else. You won't be able to kill them when they're in shield mode because they'll just go straight back to axe mode, murder you. Anyway, Great Sweep, Colossal Strike, and Shadow Shields. Hitting targets additionally restores 10% of lost health of all the unit, increases the maximum number of targets attacked by one. Um, they already hit like 6 targets. This will be 7 targets now. That's crazy. Sunwind's Phalanx, base attributes, base health 700, 7,000 going to 7,800. Base health growth going from 70 to 78. So what? You're looking at about 1,000 extra health in total, more or less. Yeah, more or less about 1,000. 1,100. Uh, no, just over 1,000. Just over 1,000. Imperial Spears, brace damage. Damage from brace attacks increased by 23%. That's fine. Honestly, I think you could increase it even higher. To be honest, it should be baseline similar to Fortebraccios at around about 1,500 damage. They only do like 1,100 damage now. 23% increase is only like um, 250 extra damage. It's not much, but like I would have increased the damage more than that. Um, I don't like this next part though. Minimum damage scaling for skills is set to 0.2. Why are you making the minimum damage 0.2 for Sunward's Phalanx? That is absolutely retarded. What minimum damage means is that they will always deal 20% no matter the defenses of the opponent. And you would understand why that's dumb. but also why it's super dumb, that's because we have to have this as well. Because there are units in this game that will push your damage to the minimum. This is not supposed to be a fallback plan of just like, this is, man. They had this issue where they've set the Ares Flurry one to point 0.5. Everyone complained, why the hell was Ares Flurry demolishing Iron Reapers and every single heavy unit with a single thrust? Because it didn't care about defenses. And it's the exact same thing. This minimum is going to hurt the stuff that relies on having high defenses. Iron Reapers, just to name one. Silidars will probably also get shafted. Medals are also going to be concerned about this change. I honestly think they should revert this out of that. I mean, blocking effect should be reverted, but I want to see if the blocking effect is frontal. If it's frontal, if it's rear, fine. I can live with that. If it's front, um, absolutely not fine. That shit should be removed. This minimum damage scaling should be set to zero point 0.1 because zero point 0.1 is what seems to be the minimum for everything else. This should be set to 0 0.1 back to 0 0.1. It being 0.2 will only matter in extreme cases, but I'm really concerned about this just because I love my Iron Reapers and I can barely fight phalanxes as it is. Fighting phalanxes with Iron Reapers is just really like difficult as it is, and they're getting a damage increase as well, so plus a health increase, so it's going to be even more difficult. Lowered the speed difference threshold for bonus damage by 1. That just makes Iron Reapers into Phalanx dead. You can no longer use Iron Reapers into Sunward's Phalanx anymore. It's whatever. Ares Flurry's damage is increased by 15%. All right. I mean, that doesn't matter too much, I guess. They nerfed the damage early on, so I guess people like Ares Flurry was that strong, I guess. Fixed an issue where some soldiers might remain stationary while using roaming sprays. Yep. Ashashians optimize the slide dodge logic when casting Eviscerate to ensure smoother action transitions. That's cool. I mean, it was kind of choppy and like really cancelly. Like it looked weird how it transitions between sliding, attacking, sliding. Either way, which is really weird. Optimize prowls fix an issue where attacks might not trigger if the target is too close. What? That never happened. The target was always too far. Or it might be a different thing where, okay, it's a fix. I'll have to check it out, see what actually changed. But I mean, come on, fix the issue where they try to attack a target that's too far and they hit nothing. Fix sporadic damage loss issues. Oh, okay. I mean, that could mean anything. Optimize an issue where basic attacks and other damage moves occasionally miss targets incorrectly. Oh, okay. That perfectly addressed what I was just complaining about. I should really read the whole section first before complaining. That's what I said before, but want to anyway. Area attack base cooldown 10 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay. Um, don't know why it was so set so high at 10 seconds. Triple shooting base cooldown 40 seconds to 35 seconds can still be cast even if the unit is already in the 3 ranked formation deployed by triple shooting. Excellent. That's always been the really annoying thing. Sometimes I'm just stationary well, when I did use the unit, I haven't used it in ages, but when I did use the unit, I'd use triple shooting, let them just keep shooting and triple shooting, and want to activate triple shooting again, but I'd have to pull them out of formation and then put them back into three ranks formation, and then have them form up again. So it was just really annoying why I couldn't just have them keep being triple shooting. Chevelle de Frise, base cooldown going from 60 seconds to 40 seconds. Not what they should have done. Again, Chevelle de Frises need their duration increased dramatically or just become permanent structures. If they become permanent structures, excellent. After casting Chevelle de Frises, current base movement speed is additionally increased by 10%. Whoa! Whoa! That is something fast for Swine Feathers. And base fire rate increased by 12%. Thank goodness they finally addressed the fire rate decrease. Okay, just so you guys know, I've measured the swine feathers without gun stock fire rate, and it is 20% lower. 20% lower, or to be more accurate, it is 25% lower than your than with gun stock, or it's 80% of the attack speed. It's 80% of the attack speed of the with gun stock. So this 12% not actually enough, but they finally addressed it. To be honest, they needed to increase the base fire rate of without gun stock by 25%. That way, at least at least it would have been equal. To me, I would have also additionally increased by 50% because of the loss of accuracy and damage. The 20% damage loss is absolutely insane, but the accuracy loss is also kind of insane. So, um, uh, the worst part about the swine feathers is losing your gun stock for essentially a temporary barrier that is almost useless against certain infantry that don't that deal anything besides piercing, and against certain cavalry, these things don't even work. You can get melted by um, Yorks. The stakes can get melted by the Yorks, and they can sometimes just plow through it. Um, Hussars is probably the only charging cavalry that can plow through it. I know that Zwanji heavy cavalry can do it. Basically, any non-piercing damage cavalry can do it. The but the Anyudaos are a little weird because they don't target the pikes correctly, but if there was a unit on top of the pikes, they would instantly slash it and destroy the pikes as well. So, oh, okay. Still, swine feathers definitely need more quality of life for after they use Chevelle de Frizes, and Chevelle de Frizes definitely need um, more buffs than just a cooldown reduction. Incendiary Archers, Mastery Node 5, Tongue, Oil, and Wildfire. Shooting speed of Special Arrow increased by 18%. Base damage of Special Fire Arrow increased by 18%. Spread burning damage of Special Fire 300 per second to 400 per second. I don't remember what the previous one was. Hang on, give me 2 seconds, actually. I'm going to see if I can drag up an old if I knew how to spell incendiary. Oh, all right. He's just added it already. Incendiary falls. No decrease for experience. Alright, it's probably not here. Damn it. Yeah. Alright. Dang it. Anyway, I can't even remember what Mastery Node 5 was. Now it's just that. Iron Cap Archers, Mastery Node 5, Flaming Arrows. I love the consistently inconsistent flaming arrows, volley of explosive arrows that can be fired goes from 2 to 4. Damage of explosive arrows increased by 27%. Iron Cap Arquebusiers, Mastery Node 8, Rushing Thunder. Base trigger chance of throw firecrackers increased by 100%. Damage of firecrackers increased by 15%. That's actually insane. Um, I still think that they should have had the firecrackers be 100% guaranteed on the first attack and then just have double attack speed. That would have been way better. Um, but 100% base increase means that like instead of 3 to 8, you're going to have like maybe 6 to 16. I don't know I don't know how percentages work in terms of like whether or not the minimum or whether or not they like maybe the high is going to get even higher or the low is going to get the spread is always just going to be weird to me. So the percentage chance um is probably going to be like from whatever it was before to like 30% now. So you're going to get probably on average 10 people throwing, considering that it's a unit of like 32 units. Yorkist Household Knights. I'm gonna be honest, there's a whole lot of shenanigans that are happening with Yorkist Household Knights. And the biggest problem is that this doesn't matter as much as it should. The reason being is because there's something in the Yorkist Household Knights that is causing issues. One of them is the flat bonus damage that is being applied to heroes. For some reason, we count as melee units. I'm not sure if that also is true if ranged heroes count as melee units. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But as far as I understand, heroes count as melee. Go figure. Or infantry, or I forget the categorization. I think we count as melee units. They also have flat damage inbuilt into the cover commander skill for some reason. So they have a straight flat damage increase against heroes for 600 as well. And that's getting multiplied by their speed bonuses, which, as far as I could tell, it it can go up to like 3 to 4 times depending on speed. That's insane. That's insane. So these reductions don't matter. Don't matter. Against heroes, we'll still get one shotted by Yorkist, but maybe they'll matter in extreme scenarios. The flat damage is the most concerning part. Unless they change how that works, these reductions will not affect that flat damage. So if you're wondering why you're still getting killed by Yorkists, even though they should deal so little damage to heroes, is because these reduction effects are not affecting a part of their damage in their kit. And I say we, but like I've just been discussing with like other testers, just like um, whether or not like it's been explained to the devs that this is happening and if they know about it. It's just one thing that we're just not getting communicated from. Base leadership is going from 225 to 245. Honestly, Yorkist household knights are basically as good, or if not better than. Okay, I'm gonna say as good for leadership cost wise uh, as the Order of the Dragons. So I'll leave it there. I do think they're not as good as Order of the Dragon. I think in terms of leadership, they're definitely better than Order of the Dragon. I don't know how high I would push the Yorkist household knights before I start considering Order of the Dragons to be better than them. But I would assume I'm getting closer around about. I'm feeling it's going to be close to 280, 280 leadership, and then I would question whether or not it was worth bringing them. But at 245, that's a cheap ass unit, and it's a really strong unit. Though then again, Liao's will also come into the picture, which like absolutely will bash you into oblivion. um, damage dealt to artillery decreased by 80%. That's here nor there. It really doesn't matter. The hero would probably destroy the artillery anyway, so I don't really care. Other optimizations and bug fixes: when the free um, doctrine removal event is active, a corresponding text prompt will now be displayed on the doctrine equipping interface. Corrected outdated content in reward descriptions for past seasonal unit challenges. Fixed missing names descriptions for certain Bastard Sword stencil attires. Fixed an issue where the Warlord controlling an Empire chariot could be knocked off by a teammate siege ballista. I've actually had this happen to me. It's hilarious, and then I purposely knocked off some of my teammates off of the Empire chariot. They had no idea that I was doing that on purpose. Um, Also, you could do it with war rockets, but war rockets are actually good, so I don't use them. Fixed an issue where the sprint strike skill of squires did not correctly benefit from certain charge boosting doctrines. Fixed formatting error in the description of Imperial Archer's snipe skill. Actual effect remains unaffected. Optimize the combat behavior of certain bots in siege battles. It would be so incredible if bots actually became intelligent. All right, that was a this is going to be a really long video. There's nothing I can do about it. There's just so much information. Obviously, I'll leave the links down below so you can read it for yourself. But I want to leave this final note because I did mention it. The Liaos, I didn't realize what happened with their last change. So, for anyone that actually remembers how Liaos works, you use bludgeon, they'll do an attack, but their attacks took so long that sometimes you would just cancel into some other things. That is no longer the case. And what I mean by that is when they reduce bludgeon down from 8 seconds to 4 seconds, they also cut the attack speed in half. Sorry. You didn't. Oh, well, I hope I'm just imagining things and I'm not smelling poop right next to me. Um, they reduce the attack interval by half. So what's happening is that previously they could throw out 8 attacks. Sorry. They could throw out like 4 attacks. Three normally. One is a little bit um one is a little buggy, but they could throw out up to 4 attacks within 8 seconds of the old bludgeon. The new bludgeon, which is only 4 seconds long, they can still throw out 4 attacks. So if you're wondering how to use Liao's, press bludgeon when you're right next to something or about to hit something, because there's a no animation attack, and then they'll attack really fast. Just stupid fast. And will kill everything. Honestly, the if they don't fix if they honestly, Liao's it was actually a surprise that no one tested out the changes to Liao's or even mentioned that such a change has taken place. I think the concerning thing here is that um it's probably not that no one noticed. I think a lot of people noticed that Bludgeon was going absolutely crazy. I think it's just that um no one cared about the fact that Bludgeon was performing way better than it should have. And I don't want to be sad when the devs decide to just keep it as a feature. But I will be. I mean, they did this with Shield Maidens. I complained about the Shield Maidens the entire time, and like, you know what they did? They just made the bug that was the spear mode cover commander working in sword mode, and all the bonuses of shield mode working in sword mode. They finally kind of like they sort of drew back on it. They almost got hammered for removing it, almost. Um, but essentially they just kept part of it in. So I'm really I'm really going to be upset if they do just keep this ridiculous attack speed, because one of the things that just irks me the wrong way is when you actually use bludgeon and you used to know what it looks like, but you don't anymore because they never are able to complete a full attack animation anymore. That's how stupidly fast the attack intervals are. Is that before they even finish the attack animation, they've already hit something and have started the next attack. That's how fast the attack interval is. It's sad that the developers would just leave these bugs, I would say bugs at this point, in and keep it as a feature. So that's the end of my rant there. Let's hope more changes are coming. Big lot of changes. Didn't get to see them on PTR, but I am still worried about two fundamental changes, and that is the minimum damage scaling and the block. I don't particularly like the range changes, especially since three of these are kind of good ranged units in comparison to like everything else. Incendiary Archers is kind of like a tier 3 kind of thing, where it's really good against shit that doesn't have fire resistance. Unfortunately, everything has fire resistance when you're tier 4 and 5. Um, Iron Cap Archers, I have no idea why. No idea why they buffed them. They're so good. You set them up correctly, the explosive arrows chunking down the enemy shields. Um, Iron Cap Arquebusiers, I can kind of see, but at the same time, if you get lucky with the firecrackers and get those 8 throwers, that's just a shit ton of damage. But at the same time, the overall performance was just probably not there. The chances of getting the 8 throwers was just basically the same as just like getting the 3 throwers, which was basically nothing. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Other than that, my name is Atsukai. Have a nice day. Bye for now.